who migrated down from Mesopotamia, modern Iraq, to Canaan, modern Israel. Their leader was a man called Abraham.
The Lord said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee.
That land was Canaan, and according to the Old Testament, God promised it to Abraham and his descendants forever. This is the origin of the idea of the Promised Land. For the best part of a century, archaeologists have tried to prove the Abraham story by finding evidence of appropriate migrations at the times suggested by the biblical account.
All this theory from A to Z of a migration from the north is not accepted anymore today. I mean, it was a nice theory, but there's no backing. I mean, the people of the beginning of the second millennium BC, they are all from a local stock. So there was no migration from the north that you can relate Abraham to.
The general portrayal of nomadic life in the Bible doesn't really reflect very strongly what we know about nomads. Nomads are often plunderers. They often invade settled territories. There's reference to camels. The camel nomads come in much later. They are not characteristic of this period.
After arriving in Canaan, Abraham and his family supposedly settled here in the city of Hebron. This building, the tomb of the patriarchs built by King Herod 2,000 years ago in Roman times, is supposed to stand above their burial site.
What we can see here, the main building is Roman, from the Roman period, probably Herodian. You see the big stones. Above them are much later Muslim mosque. But what is most important for our aim here is the bedrock here. This is the natural bedrock from the time of the Canaanite period, from the time of the settlement period, and so on. And in this bedrock, you cannot see it here, but all around, in this bedrock, were cut tombs during the Canaanite period. This was the cemetery of the town, here around. So this is the source of the tradition, which is not historical, about the patriarch, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that are so-called buried here.
So do we have any actual evidence that Abraham and his family did at least exist?
There is no historical Abraham in the strict sense. There are traditions about Abraham. What we read in the Bible are later traditions which have almost nothing to do with real history. Probably there was an ancestor of the tribes here named Abraham, but we know nothing about him but his name.
The patriarchs could have been real figures who became mythical during the ages. They could have been completely mythical. We don't know, and we'll probably never know. In fact, there's no way to know.
We've come to a complete archaeological dead end about Abraham. There's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that Abraham was a historical figure. But he is a prominent character in the book of Genesis. And the book of Genesis is an ancient text that is, of course, of incredible importance for us. And what we see in the figure of Abraham is a symbolic representation of the birth of the nation. Because at the time of the writing of the Bible, the history of the people of Israel was not considered to be history in the sense that we understand it, of years, of periods, of particular historical events. It was seen more as the history of a family. And of course, the father of the family, the founder of the family, is a person of great significance.
Although we can appreciate the importance of a mythical figure like Abraham, the complete absence of any objective evidence, indeed the inconsistencies in the biblical account, inevitably weakens the claims made for it. But what about other Old Testament heroes, like Moses, who brought us the laws on which so many of our basic moral ideas are founded? can